We have a quorum, and today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. This is the 7th meeting of 2026 and the 59th regular meeting of the current term of the Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County. Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is being offered this evening by Mr. H.G. Stovall, who is a deacon at Connection United Methodist Church and the executive director of Nashville Launchpad. He is the guest of District 14 Council Member Jordan Huffman. Welcome, Mr. Stovall. You are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, Council. One of the things we do before we start services each week at my faith community, Connection United Methodist Church of Donaldson, is we take a deep breath together. Let's do that. We do this to ground ourselves in our time together. Let us pray. God of wisdom, compassion, and justice, we gather today in this brightly appointed room, one of decorum, process, and order, under a roof of stability. And I'm called by you, Creator, to speak for those whose ceiling is frequently the sky that you created, God. As Nashville's elected officials deliberate on budget numbers, fiscal notes, zoning, the future of the East Bank, and the machinery of this city this evening, grant us the clarity to see the faces behind the statistics. I lift up tonight the youth and young adults of Launchpad and of our streets, those sojourners who were not lost, but left behind, overlooked, forgotten. Help us remember that youth homelessness is not a political talking point, but moreover, it is a child without a bedtime story, a teenager studying by the light of a bus stop, perhaps without a bench to sit on, and even a young soul left wandering our city, their city, wondering where help can be found and who can be trusted to assist. So tonight and each night going forward, please show not just this elected body, but the entirety of our city it represents how to see every human in our midst as their neighbor. Not only the neighbors that we enjoy, not those we see daily or from whom we borrow a cup of sugar or flour, not only those we agree with, but all people, because we know that y'all truly means all. Creator, grant this council the courage of conviction to look beyond the all too easy convenience of the status quo and to see the urgency of a lonely night, whether it's warm or freezing. Grant this body the integration of justice and mercy to recognize that while justice demands we dismantle the systemic barriers that create and perpetuate poverty, mercy requires us to provide the soft bed and the safe harbor right now. May we never provide the policy without the heart, nor the charity without the change. Grant this assembly the wisdom of stewardship to recognize that investing in our young people, not only with a journey pass to ride the bus, but investing in a bed now is cheaper and infinitely more human than managing a health, housing, hygiene, or hunger crisis later. Grant these leaders, Lord, the heart of a parent to view every young person sleeping in a doorway or a sliver of the woods not as a nuisance or a problem to be solved, but as our own kindred flesh and blood, deserving of safety, dignity, and a fair start to life. May the decisions made tonight and into the future be more than ink on paper. May they be the blueprints for a city where housing is a right, not a luxury, and no young person has to trade their future in an attempt to survive only the night. Let us work this evening not just for the city we have, but for the city that future generations deserve. May it be so. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you very much, Mr. Stovall. Welcome, council and community members. Transit Month in Nashville continues, and it was my pleasure to take the Trustee 3B bus downtown to committee meetings yesterday and to ride it back home and chat along the way with Councilmember Allen. Thanks to our city's successful dedicated funding referendum, the number 3 and many other bus lines are running more frequently and have become an even better option for more Nashvillians. I invite all Nashvillians to try transit and replace at least one car trip this month. This is National Library Week, and today is National Library Workers' Day. And we're so pleased to have the Nashville Public Library Foundation with us on our second floor mezzanine prior to our first April meeting for a thankathon where members of the public, council members, and I could write thank you notes to express our appreciation. Thank you to Ms. Vo for helping coordinate that. A great city has a great library, and we certainly do. I often say that your Nashville Public Library card is truly a magic passport. We encourage all Nashvillians to get your free library card. Go online or to your local branch and see all the amazing free resources to which your card entitles you. As the library itself says, it's not just books. Councilmember Gadd welcomed library employees back to the council chamber as our guest just shortly ago to present a resolution honoring library workers. So thank you very much to everyone who supports and works to make Nashville's library system so amazing. Our library is also home to our Metro Historic Archives, where our friends at Nashville Sites and Metro Historic research and find images used in the new Historic Courthouse and City Hall digital audio tour. Members of the community visiting City Hall can now find signage for tour stops. It looks like this to everybody who's here and watching online, in color though. Can find those tour stops on the ground floor and out on the second floor mezzanine with QR codes to jump into the details of the art and architecture of our beautiful 1937 historic building and learn more about our 3 branches of local government. You can also find the tour spots out front on Diane Nash Plaza, or simply go to Nashville Sites, sites.org, at any time and take the audio tour from home or wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone who came out on Sunday afternoon for the community celebration to launch the new tour. It was a beautiful day with Trustee Gilmore's 4th annual Diane Nash Walk and Davidson County historian Dr. Lee Williams sharing about council member Z. Alexander Luby and the mayor proclaiming April 19th as Z. Alexander Luby Day. So many Nashville histories have and do continue to converge on the public square. All right. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to please record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 7th, 2026? All right, there is a motion properly seconded. And so without objection, and seeing no one seeking to be recognized for a change to the minutes, the minutes of the meeting of April 7th are approved. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, we will roll right into our agenda. First is Section E, Appointees and Nominees. This portion of the agenda shares all persons, the many persons who were scheduled to appear before the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee for an interview this evening. Referrals back to the committee will be by rule as part of the council's 2-meeting process for elections and confirmations. No votes will be taken by the body in this section of the agenda. Chair Cash, as brief a report as possible, please, sir. No vote totals necessary, simply the name of those interviews and for which board, commission, committee, or entity they were interviewed, kind of in the aggregate. And then if a person in the appointment and confirmation process was unable to attend your committee this evening, at what meeting they will next appear, please, sir. Go ahead.
All right. For Action Commission, John Michael. For Health and Educational Facilities Board, Nicholas Cavan. We deferred for the Historic Zoning Commission, Elizabeth Mayhall. Parks and Recreation Board.
Sir, at what meeting will Ms. Mayhall appear?
I'm sorry, one meeting.
Okay. At the meeting of March, or rather, May 7th.
Yep. For Parks and Recreation Board, we interviewed Dr. Michelle Steele. Mirza Esteban has been withdrawn for Property Standards and Appeals Board. The Short-Term Rental Appeals Board, David Kleinfelter. For Sustainability Advisory, Cesar Castro and Laura Donahue. We deferred the interview one meeting for Caroline Everett for Sustainability Advisory. And then in the Midtown Central Business Improvement District, we interviewed a bunch of nominee board of directors. Those are Michael Babb, Walt Burton, Lisa Haller, Andre LeQuire, Julia Baker, Bob Franklin, Ali Hall Eagles, Emily Schneller, Donovan Sheffield. We deferred Andrew Cook one meeting. And then we also interviewed Charlie Couture, Chris Gala, Malik Gay, and Keith Siebernaler. I hope I got that one right.
All right. Okay, that concludes our Section E, appointees and nominees. Next is Section F for confirmations. So Chair Cash, you will be recognized again for your committee report on the appointees in the second step of your committee's two-meeting process, this time with vote totals and a consolidated motion for the confirmation of those persons, or first for a deferral motion if there are any. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission reappointment of Catherine McDonald. These are all 7-0.
Okay.
For Board of Equalization, appointment of Whitney Ellis. Board of Equalization, appointment of Michelle Trueba. Board of Equalization, appointment of Scott Tyrone as an alternate. Fair Commissioners Board, appointment of Brittany Tabor. Farmers Market Board, reappointment of Scott Moskovitz. Housing Trust Fund Commission, appointment of Lizzie Goddard. Sports Authority, reappointment of Daniel Russ Pulley. The Sustainability Advisory Committee, appointment of Jeffrey Ezel Ace. Sustainability Advisory Committee, reappointment of Councilmember Sandy Ewing. The Sustainability Advisory Committee, reappointment of Matthew K. Taylor. Sustainability Advisory Committee reappointment of Linda Bregan. Sustainability Advisory Committee reappointment of Jennifer Wang. Sustainability Advisory Committee reappointment of Erica Weeks. Traffic and Parking Commission, appointment of Lauren Gaines. Zoning Appeals Board, appointment of Michael Garrigan. Zoning Appeals Board, appointment of Anna Yoder. And that's it, all 7-0.
All right. Hearing no deferrals, could you please make a consolidated motion, please?
I'd like to move all nominees.
Okay. For confirmation, I hear it is seconded. Does anyone wish to remove an item from this consolidated motion for purposes of an individual abstention or a no vote? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor of the remaining confirmations, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Everyone is now confirmed. And to our confirmed appointees, if you chose to return to the council chamber this evening, which is not required, do please stand as I call your name for collective applause at the end. All right. Council has confirmed the reappointment of Catherine McDonald to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission. To the Board of Equalization, Council has confirmed the appointments of Whitney Ellis, Michelle Trueba, and Scott Tyrone. To the Fair Commissioners Board, Council has confirmed the appointment of Brittany Tabor. And to the Farmers Market Board, Council has confirmed the reappointment of Scott Moskovitz. To the Housing Trust Fund Commission, Council has confirmed the appointment of Lizzie Goddard. To the Sports Authority, Council has confirmed the reappointment of the Honorable Daniel Russ Pulley, former council member. And to the Sustainability Advisory Committee, Council has confirmed the reappointment of Jeffrey Ezel Ace, Council Member Sandy Ewing, Matthew K. Taylor, Linda Bregan, Jennifer Wang, and Erica Weeks. And then to the Traffic and Parking Commission, Council has confirmed the appointment of Lauren Gaines. To the Zoning Appeals Board, Council has confirmed the appointment of Michael Garrigan and Anna Yoder. All right. Thank you all so much. Congratulations to you. whether you are here in the chamber or watching from home, we appreciate your willingness to serve our city. Thank you. All right, as we transition into our nomination section of the agenda, I want to bring members and the community's attention to two vacancies on the Transportation Licensing Commission. Council members will have received a memo from me yesterday, and it is on your desks this evening. The Transportation Licensing Commission, also known as the TLC, has the exclusive jurisdiction of the licensing and regulation of all vehicles for hire, including but not limited to taxicabs, wreckers, sedans, limousines, horse-drawn carriages, and persons or businesses engaged in the practice of booting vehicles. All right, per this memo, I will take nominations from council members for the TLC, the two vacancies, at the meeting of May 7th, at the May 7th council meeting. All right, it is now time to take nominations for board and commission vacancies that were announced and explained at the last meeting. And in agenda order, those are agenda item G, 1, East Bank Development Authority. These will be nominations to fill one vacancy on the authority with a term expiring June 30th of 2030, with the election to be held or conducted on May 19th at that council meeting. All right, the nominations for East Bank Development Authority are open. If members wish to make a nomination, they can enter the queue. Ms. Webb, council member, you're recognized.
Thank you. I nominate Bob Braswell.
Okay, council member Webb has nominated Bob Braswell. Council member Toombs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I nominate Nathaniel Carter.
Okay, Councilmember Toombs has nominated Nathaniel Carter. Do any other members seek to be recognized to make a nomination to the East Bank Development Authority? Seeing none, those nominations are now closed. Next, agenda item G2, nominations to the Property Standards and Appeals Board. Nominations to fill one vacancy on the board with a term expiring April 7th of 2030, with an election to be conducted at the May 19th, 2026 council meeting. Those nominations are now open. I see members in the queue. Councilmember Kupin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to nominate Grafton Brittle, please.
All right, Councilmember Kupin has nominated Grafton Brittle. Is that correct? Brittle with a B? Okay. All right. Councilmember Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to nominate Roger Farmer.
Okay. Councilmember Evans has nominated Roger Farmer. Do any other members seek to be recognized for a nomination to the Property Standards and Appeals Board? Seeing none, I declare those nominations closed. Next is agenda item G3 for the Short-Term Rentals Appeals Board. Nominations to fill one vacancy on the board with a term expiring August 31st of 2027, with an election to be conducted again at the May 19th council meeting. I see that members have entered the queue. Those nominations are open. Councilmember Kupin.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to nominate Kevin Griffith, please.
Okay, Councilmember Kupin has nominated Kevin Griffith for consideration on the Short-Term Rental Appeals Board. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I nominate Diamond Bell.
Okay, Councilmember Toombs has nominated Diamond Bell. Okay, seeing no other members seeking to make a nomination. All right, those nominations are closed. All right, council members, the clerk may be in touch with you to get contact information for your nominees. So please be on the lookout. Again, those folks will have their interview at our May 7th meeting. The election will be conducted at the meeting of May 19th. All right. Next is Agenda Section H, Public Comment. Members of the public who are Tennessee residents wishing to speak at public comment may sign up at the table outside the council chamber from 5 to 6 p.m. on the day of a council meeting. Public comment is limited to 20 minutes total at council meetings, and each speaker is allowed up to 2 minutes to speak. Persons speaking on agenda items must be prioritized to comply with state law. All right. I will go ahead and announce a few of the folks after the first person so that you can go ahead and make your way and come forward. The first person for public comment is Cynthia Clinton, speaking on agenda item 56. This is ordinance BL 2026-1273, East Bend zoning, speaking in support. After Cynthia Clinton will be James Hubler and then Jennifer Turner. Go ahead, Ms. Clinton, you are recognized.
Okay, my name is Cindy Clinton, and I stand before you today not just as a nonprofit leader, but as an educator who spent 23 years in the classroom here in Tennessee. The idea for the Music City Children's Museum didn't come from a boardroom. It came from me visiting children's museums with my grandchildren. And in every children's museum, I would say, why not Nashville? So in 2014, I retired and I decided to quit asking that question and answer it by trying to build a children's museum in Nashville, a world-class one. For more than a decade, we've moved forward step by step. The challenge we faced in the last few years has been finding the right home and the right partner. Today, after years of evaluating a location, we are closer than ever with the East Bend, because East Bend is more than a location. It is a vision for a family-focused district where children can learn and families can connect. The legislation before you, as written by planning, creates conditions that make a project like ours possible. It allows for the kind of thoughtful, community-centered development that can bring a children's museum to life. We can move from vision to reality. Tonight, it's more than just zoning. We can be a city that invests in families. We can be a city that creates spaces for children and a city that thinks about the next generation. I've spent years of my life working toward this moment, and I truly believe East Bend gives Nashville the opportunity to finally make this dream a reality. I respectfully ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be James Hubler, also speaking on East Bend zoning, followed by Jennifer Turner, and then David Byerly. Mr. Hubler, you're recognized.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jim Hubler, and I live at 607 Fatherland Street in the first zoned historic district in Davidson County. I've lived in the area since 1986 and have seen amazing improvements in the neighborhood in that time period. Tonight, your votes on the East Bank development will be a defining moment in the history of our city. We all want to get it right. Density works in an urban environment, but only when done properly. The amendments to plan seemed well-meaning and well thought out, but please make this a neighborhood, not a new downtown. Be careful with what you impose on the future. Do we really need 12 40-story buildings, one 50-story building, and multiple 20-story buildings? Years ago, in 1958, we were given an opportunity to reimagine the East Bank. At that time, interstate highways were new and everybody wanted one, so we got an East Bank interstate highway. We also removed a slum area and built the Ellington Parkway. But we also wiped out a large Victorian residential neighborhood and some of the businesses in that area. So please remember what you're doing is going to have an impact on the future, and let's do it right. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. All right, next is Jennifer Turner, also pretty much everybody is going to be speaking on agenda item 56, 1273 East Bend zoning. Following Jennifer will be David Byerly and then Brian Hubbard. Go ahead, Ms. Turner, you're recognized.
Good evening, council members. It's so nice to see you all again. My name is Jennifer Turner. I'm the president and CEO of Tennessee Performing Arts Center. I reside on South 13th Street, zip code 37206 in Davidson County. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in support of the East Bend zoning and broader East Bank vision. Like many of you, we see this as a transformational opportunity for our community. We have the ability to replace underused industrial land with a vibrant, inclusive neighborhood that belongs to all Nashvillians. We strongly support the goals embedded in the plan: walkability, great design, multimodal access, and a public realm that prioritizes people over pavement. I support this personally as a resident of East Nashville and in my role representing TPAC in our own development. I particularly appreciate the short-term flexibility on parking regulations. We fully support planning for a transit-forward future, but before that is realized, we do not want to limit access to the arts and TPAC. Flexibility today allows us to succeed while the district matures. The East Bend development team have been partners and supporters of TPAC as we planned our own relocation to the East Bank. This type of collaboration is crucial to the success of arts organizations like ours. The arts are not an accessory to this development, they are an anchor. TPAC brings students, families, seniors, tourists, and working artists into the heart of our city. That only works if audiences can get there safely and reliably, especially during the transition period. I encourage the council to approve the East Bend zoning while preserving flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be David Byerly, speaking again on East Bend zoning in support, followed by Brian Hubbard and Samuel Lingo. Go ahead, Mr. Byerly, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, each and every one of you. And thank you for still being a council that allows a session to start with prayer. I personally wouldn't be here without it. So many investors, primarily from Nashville and Middle Tennessee, have come together to create something truly special, a place, built and designed from scratch for families, a place for people to live and visit, where children will learn and be entertained, where families will have a place that is genuinely designed for them. And this is our singular message. We have one story. It's easy to remember, and I would just encourage us to really begin to work together, as so many have. I've seen in the last 2 weeks, most everyone on this floor genuinely just lock arms and try to get started, right? It's time to work now. We have a license to work. I genuinely hope after tonight. Imagine East Bank. We have read it from cover to cover many times. And I would just say to you, thanks to your hard work, I really hope we don't have to imagine anymore after this evening.
Thank you. All right. Next is Brian Hubbard. Mr. Hubbard will be followed by Samuel Lingo and Matthew Payne. Those folks can go ahead and come forward. Mr. Hubbard is also speaking on East Bend zoning in support. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, council members. My name is Brian Hubbard. I'm an architect and design principal at Kinsler, located at 161 Rosa Parks Boulevard. I've had the privilege of working as part of the East Bend team, helping shape the vision you see before you today. I want to speak specifically about the process. This plan didn't happen in isolation. It is a result of thousands of hours of collaboration with Metro Planning Department alongside engineers, landscape architects, visionaries, transportation experts, community stakeholders, and other state and local officials. From the beginning, the goal was to align with the city's long-term vision and imagine East Bank plan to create a district that works not just on paper, but in practice. We approached this with thought, through the framework of the downtown code, which prioritizes form, public space, and the experience of street level. Every element you see, from the pedestrian connections to the greenway to the open space networks, has been shaped through the ongoing dialogue with the planning department to ensure it delivers on the broader goals of connectivity, accessibility, and livability. What's important to understand is that this is not a one-off design. It's coordinated intentional framework that ensures the district evolves in a way that is cohesive, human-scaled, and responsive to Nashville's needs. Metro Planning, with their knowledgeable and talented staff, have been deeply engaged at every step, helping define, refine the vision, challenge assumptions, and ensure outcomes that reflect the values outlined in the Imagine East Bank Plan. The legislation before you is a product of that work. It provides the structure and clarity needed to deliver a well-designed and thoughtfully executable urban neighborhood. On behalf of our team, I want to thank the planning for their partnership, and we look forward to more work and coordination with the city to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Samuel Lingo, also speaking on agenda item 56, East Bend zoning in support. Following Samuel Lingo will be Matthew Payne and then Macy Fluharty. Go ahead, you're recognized.
Good evening, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sam Lingo. I live at 1212 McGrace Lane here in Nashville. I'm a Nashville native and raising 2 boys with my wife. I grew up watching the scrap yard from the Cumberland River, watched it again from the trolley barns when we moved the Entrepreneur Center there, and now I'm part of the team working to transform it. The time has come to change that riverfront, and tonight I need your help. In October of 2022, when Imagine East Bank Plan was released, we were already pursuing that site. Even at this early stage, we've made 3 choices that go beyond what was required of us. First, with Metro Planning, we've pursued the Downtown Code, a form-based code that sets the framework without locking every detail, so the community can keep shaping the project as it evolves. Our project also catalyzed planning's new River Gateway site language in the community plan, written for one riverfront site within our assemblage. Second, we wrote greenways and open space into the zoning itself across the entire district. The Gulch tried to get open space through incentives, but incentives only work if developers take them, and many didn't. We didn't want that. It's required, not optional. Third, Metro pioneered a process on their 30 acres to design the public realm with intention. We've put that principle into practice, sharing our draft streets, rights of way, and public spaces with the community before we were required to do so that people could respond while we could adapt, and we have. The work in front of you tonight reflects nearly 3 years of public process. It didn't arrive last week. This council has received more than 100 letters of support from community leaders, business owners, and Nashvillians who live near this site. We've already made the commitment to public infrastructure and amenities through this plan. We stand ready to make the investment required, and the work that begins the day after your approval will last for years. 47 acres that have been closed to the public for nearly a century open. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Next will be Matthew Payne, speaking on agenda item 56, East Bend zoning, followed by Macy Fluharty and then Mannon Hall. Go ahead, Mr. Payne, you're recognized.
Yeah, good evening, council members. My name is Matthew Payne. I live at 4414 Leland Lane, but I'm also the owner of Longevity Fitness in East Nashville. And I work every day with the people who live, work, and raise their families in East Nashville neighborhoods. I also operate a small business that depends on steady, sustainable foot traffic to survive. So when I look at a project like East Bend, I'm not looking at it in theory. I'm looking at it through the lens of what actually works for a city and for a small business like my own. Small businesses in East Nashville have felt the pressure of growth for years. We've seen increased density pushed into established neighborhoods that create strain on residents, on traffic, and on the very character that makes East Nashville special. East Bend offers a different approach. It concentrates density where it makes sense in a purpose-built urban district designed to handle it. It creates a place where people can live, work, and spend time without putting additional pressure on surrounding neighborhoods that weren't designed for that level of intensity. And from a small business perspective, that matters. Density, when done right, is what keeps local businesses alive. It brings customers, it creates energy, it builds ecosystem where independent operators can succeed, but it has to be in the right place with the right infrastructure and with intentional planning behind it. And that's exactly why this legislation allows for it. It directs growth to a location that can support it while helping relieve some of the ongoing pressures we've all felt in East Nashville. It creates new opportunities for small businesses, not just within East Bend, but across the broader area by expanding the customer base and strengthening the local economy. As a small business owner, I strongly encourage you to pass this legislation. It represents a thoughtful, strategic approach to growth that benefits both our neighborhoods and businesses that serve them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Macy Fluharty, followed by Manon Hall and Joseph Lee. Ms. Fluharty is speaking on agenda item 56, East Bain zoning. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Macy Fluharty. I live in District 12 on Uchee, Shawnee, and Cherokee land. My city council person is Aaron Evans. When I first moved to Tennessee, I rented a room in East Nashville. Since then, I have moved around the city depending on work, but I've always thought I would move back to East one day soon. I have friends that live out there, businesses I enjoy spending my money at, and a vibrant community that is truly its own. I've learned much in that area, both in skills and life lessons. I spend a lot of my volunteer time in East Nashville, and when friends come to visit, we always go to East. A large chunk of this part of our city is up for rezoning. East Nashville has a lot of potential, and residents have made it clear what they want and need: housing, cultural enrichment, and green spaces. Votes that jeopardize these necessities in our growing city will show us how committed this body is to their constituents versus developers and potential tourists. We should all want people to be able to build lives and continue to enrich our East Nashville. We hear all the time how we want to solve the affordable housing crisis in our city, that we want to ensure our unhoused neighbors can be as safe as possible. This is a chance to make sure we can make those steps towards progress and safety, to make sure East Nashville stays East Nashville and doesn't risk becoming another Broadway. Or tonight could push the idea of homes, green spaces, and local community further onto a back burner. I hope this council votes on this bill and its upcoming amendments with great intention, because that is how it will be seen by us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Manon Hall, followed by Joseph Lee, and then lastly, Tattery Marion. Go ahead, Mr. Hall, you're recognized.
Hi, my name is Manon Hall. I live at 912 Strauss Ave, 37206. This is one of the most desirable properties in the entire country, and we're giving all these new entitlements with no tangible knowledge to the future cost to Nashvillians. How much are Nashvillians going to be on the hook for these developers' future? I take great offense when folks speak about Nashville's future in regards to transit. Our transit system now is incredible. The frequency improvements have made my life and the 30,000 Nashvillians' lives better. The East Bank will have a transit center and will become an incredible hub for transit use. And to, push off, we need more parking is offensive to me personally, because 30,000 Nashvillians use it a day. And that brings me to why I am in strong support of late filed Amendment 3. Curb cuts are one of the many reasons, maybe one of the most major reasons that our pikes are so deadly for pedestrians and cyclists. By keeping the limit to those 3 locations, this will ensure that that street stays safe. I'm going to read off the names of the 27 people that were cyclists and pedestrians that were killed last year on Nashville streets. James Burns, Mac Tyrone Cosby, Jerry Crutcher, Dot Dobbins, James D. Galloway Jr., Cariona Harding, Larissa Houston, Robert L. Jones, Nicholas Leonhardt, Lorenzo Mendoza, Rustin Nieder, Patricia Owens, Kira Phillips, Robert Powell, Melina Sanderson, Jose Salamanca, Julie Savoy, Blaze Schaefer, and La Tun, and 8 more unnamed pedestrians. Please make this road a street where no one dies.
Thank you. Next is Joseph Lee, also speaking on agenda item 56, East Bend zoning, and then again, lastly, Tattery Marion. Go ahead, Mr. Lee.
Hi, my name is Joe Lee, and my address is 1-800 Blandfood Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. I've come to you to speak regarding the East Bend rezoning bills. I've read all 28 amendments and 4 late file amendments, and let me tell you, none of these address the issues that we face as Williamson County residents, okay? Davidson County has existed to serve us, Williamsonites, ever since our brave DEI General, John Bell Hood, made the first commute from from Franklin to Nashville in the winter of 1864. I thought we had a good understanding that you guys provide all the jobs and opportunities, and we extract them and pay our property tax back home so it can make our school white. I'm concerned about the infrastructure of the East Bend. There are way too many parks and active spaces, okay? What we Williamsonites need is a 100-lane wide superhighway and all the free parking as wide as your eyes can see, so I can park my G-Wagon at the gates of the stadium where you are also paying for. What are we going to do, walk? This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, so please don't waste it on your own residents and continue to serve us, Williamson County-nites. All I'm asking for you is to just do what you did when you remove your 9 Ave bike lanes. It's a win-win situation. You just have to listen to all the rich property owners, and you can legally ignore all the 48% of the renters in your own county. Think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Tattery Marion. Ms. Marion is speaking on regarding the Small Business Administration loans. Go ahead, ma'am, you're recognized.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. My name is Tattery Marion. I serve as a public affairs specialist with the United States Small Business Administration. My role is to connect communities like yours with critical resources, especially during times of disaster and economic hardship. Right now, I'm here to make sure your residents, business owners, and nonprofit organizations are aware of our low-interest disaster loans available through the SBA. These are federal loans designed to help people recover and rebuild after a declared disaster. And when I say recover, I mean everything from repairing homes and replacing personal property to helping small businesses cover operating expenses and get back on their feet. For homeowners and renters, SBA loans can help repair and replace damaged property, things like roofs, HVAC systems, furniture, and even vehicles. For small businesses and nonprofits, we offer what is called economic injury disaster loans. These working capital loans help cover everyday expenses like payroll, rent, and utilities when revenue has been impacted. What's important to understand is that these loans are long-term, low interest, and designed to be affordable. In many cases, they offer more flexibility than traditional lending options, especially for those who may not qualify. The key are deadlines. The deadline is June 22nd. I'm asking for your support in helping us spread the word, whether it's sharing information through the city channels, allowing us a few minutes at future agendas, or connecting us with local organizations and stakeholders. Your voice helps us reach more people. At the end of the day, our goal is simple: to make sure no one in your community is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marion. All right, that concludes our public comment period. Next is agenda item I1, a rule of procedure. This is a proposed amendment to Rule of Procedure 46. Per our procedure, Mr. Prepti, I can recognize you, sir, but we do defer one meeting by rule. I would invite members, you have an explanation on your desk, and you can look at that. It's regarding council meetings and when they might be held or not be held per Mr. Prepti's proposal. So by rule, this is deferred one meeting to the meeting of May 7th. All right. Next, agenda section J, resolutions on public hearing. Spanish interpretation services are provided for all Metro Council public hearings. Council Office team member Karina Valdez is here as the interpreter. Ms. Valdez, will you please share how you can help?
Los servicios de interpretación en español estarán disponibles en la audiencia pública. Gracias.
Gracias, we appreciate you. For those wishing to speak this evening as part of public hearings, please do state your name, but it is not required for you to provide your exact address if you do not wish to do so. You may want to tell us in what neighborhood or area you live, your connection to the agenda item or project, or who your council member is. All right. The first resolution on public hearing is Agenda Item 1, Resolution 2026-1898, sponsors Kupin and Bradford. This is a resolution exempting Monell's Dining and Catering located at 1235 6th Avenue North from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Kupin, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Open the public hearing, please.
If we can, let's go ahead and just get your committee report
reports,
first,
please.
okay? Go ahead, Chair Hill, for the report of the government operations.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We recommended approval, 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Back to you.
Thank you, Madam President. Open the public hearing, please.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution please raise your hand? Thank you. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution please raise your hand? Seeing no one here in opposition, do the persons here in support wish to speak? You would like to, sir? Go ahead. Please come forward.
Good to see you all. Michael King, owner of Monell's. I just wanted to, since the closure of the manor, we had to move our catering license that we do off property and also Oktoberfest from, we needed a address, so that was the whole purpose. I am not a beer. The only time I do beer, and I don't even drink it, is Oktoberfest. That's enough for me. We're not turning it into beer or selling beer. We just needed the address so that we can continue doing our events off catering with alcohol. So I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else seeking to be recognized? Seeing none, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Mr. Kupin, for a motion.
Thank you, Madam President. Move approval with a brief comment, please.
All right, properly seconded. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate the support on this. The Germantown Neighborhood Association is very supportive. They sent a letter in. They expressed their deep appreciation for Mr. King and Monell's. I did want to acknowledge there were three neighbors that could not be here tonight that had some concerns and opposition that they had raised. Spoke to them earlier. Told them I would note their concerns for the record. But again, overwhelmingly, the Neighborhood Association has been incredibly supportive of this. We've gotten a letter of support. It was talked about in multiple Neighborhood Association meetings. And again, as you heard Mr. King say, he's not looking to open any sort of beer establishment, but rather keep his catering license open. So I ask my colleagues to support this and appreciate it very much.
All right, there is a motion to approve, properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this resolution? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, council has adopted this resolution. Next is Agenda Item 2, Resolution 2026-1899, sponsor Toombs. This is a resolution exempting 201 Lucy Lane from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a short-term rental property not owner-occupied permit pursuant to the Metro Code of Laws, Section 6.28.030B2D. All right, Councilmember Toombs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Request to open a public hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to do that committee report first. We may just wind up flipping that back the next time we do this, but if we're going to go ahead and do the committee report, go ahead, Ms. Hill.
Yeah, we recommend approval, 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you for that committee report. And with that, now, Ms. Toombs, I will declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this Ms. Toombs's resolution, please raise your hand? All right. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here in opposition, in support, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your bill.
Move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, is there a second? Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I just want to say this is a row of townhomes that are across from Haynes Middle School. They're on the opposite side of the street. Every single townhome except one is outside of the 100 feet. So I don't normally do non-owner occupied short-term rentals. So I just wanted to give that explanation. It's just one townhome. All the rest are qualified. So I was fine with this one.
All right, appreciate the explanation. There is a motion to approve this resolution. It's properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Ms. Suara, you will be recorded as an abstention, Mr. Clerk. All right, council has adopted this resolution. All right, next is agenda section K, our consolidated consent agenda. All resolutions and second and third reading ordinances on this agenda are included on the consent agenda if recommended for approval unanimously by all committees to which the item was referred. Items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. The item number, along with the resolution and ordinance number of the items on the consent agenda, will be read by me, and then members of the council may remove any item from the consent agenda by request before the consent agenda vote is taken. All right. The first item proposed for the consolidated consent agenda is agenda item 3. Resolution 2026-1900. Agenda item 4, Resolution 2026-1901. Agenda item 5, Resolution 2026-1902. Agenda item 6, Resolution 2026-1903. Agenda item 7, Resolution 2026-1904. Agenda item 8, Resolution 2026-1905. Agenda item 9, Resolution 2026-1906. Agenda item 10, Resolution 2026-1907. Agenda item 11, Resolution 2026-1908. Agenda item 12, Resolution 2026-1909. Agenda item 13, Resolution 2026-1910. Agenda item 14, Resolution 2026-1911. Agenda item 15, Resolution 2026-1912. Agenda item 16, Resolution 2026-1913. Agenda item 17, Resolution 2026-1914. Agenda item 18, Resolution 2026-1915. Agenda item 19, Resolution 2026-1916. Agenda item 20, Resolution 2026-1917. Agenda item 21, Resolution 2026-1918. Agenda item 22, Resolution 2026-1919. Agenda item 23, Resolution 2026-1920. Agenda item 24, Resolution 2026-1921. Agenda item 25, Resolution 2026-1922. Agenda item 26, Resolution 2026-1923. Agenda item 27, Resolution 2026-1924. That concludes our resolutions. And next, on second reading, the first item proposed for the consent agenda is agenda item 43, Ordinance BL 2026-1327. Agenda item 44, Ordinance BL 2026-1328. Agenda item 45, Ordinance BL 2026-1329. Agenda item 46, Ordinance BL 2026-1330. Agenda item 47, Ordinance BL 2026-1331. Agenda item 48, Ordinance BL 2026-1332. Agenda item 49, Ordinance BL 2026-1333. Agenda item 51, Ordinance BL 2026-1335. Agenda item 52, Ordinance BL 2026-1336. Now moving into bills on third reading proposed for the consent agenda. First among those is agenda item 54, Ordinance BL 2026-1257. Agenda item 55, Ordinance BL 2026-1266. Next is agenda item 58, Ordinance BL 2026-1295. Agenda item 59, Ordinance BL 2026-1303. Agenda item 60, Ordinance BL 2026-1304. Agenda item 61, Ordinance BL 2026-1305. Agenda item 62, Ordinance BL 2026-1306. Agenda item 63, Ordinance BL 2026-1307. Agenda item 64, Ordinance BL 2026-1308. Agenda item 65, Ordinance BL 2026-1309. Agenda item 66, Ordinance BL 2026-1310. Agenda item 67, Ordinance BL 2026-1311. Agenda item 68, Ordinance BL 2026-1312. Agenda item 69, Ordinance BL 2026-1313. Agenda item 70, Ordinance BL 2026-1315. Agenda item 71, Ordinance BL 2026-1316. Agenda item 72, Ordinance BL 2026-1319. Agenda item 73, Ordinance BL 2026-1320. Agenda item 74, Ordinance BL 2026-1321. Agenda item 75, Ordinance BL 2026-1322. Agenda item 76, Ordinance BL 2026-1323. Agenda item 77, Ordinance BL 2026-1324. And then lastly, proposed for the consolidated consent agenda is agenda item 78, Ordinance BL 2026-1325. Do any items need to be removed from the consent agenda? If so, if members will please join the queue to request that. Councilmember Benton, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to remove 2026-1311, number 67.
Okay, Councilmember Benton has requested that agenda item 67, is that correct, Mr. Benton, 67? Ordinance BL 2026-1311 be removed from consent. It has been removed. Councilmember Hancock, you're recognized.
I'd like to request the removal of RS 2026-1907.
Okay, what agenda is that?
Number 10.
Okay. Councilmember Hancock has requested removal of agenda item 10, which is Resolution 2026-1907. That will be removed from consent. Do any other members seek to be recognized to remove an item from the consent agenda? All right. Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, are all committee reports in for the items on the consent agenda?
Yes, all committee reports are in.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Members, is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda? Okay, there's a motion properly seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Council has passed all items on the consent agenda. All right, now we will go back in agenda order for those items that were not on consent. First being agenda section L for our resolutions. The first item among those that was not on consent is agenda item 10, Resolution 2026-1907, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Kupin, Welsh, Allen, Gadd, Ewing, Lee, Porterfield, Vaux, Harrell, Gamble, Ellis, Prep, Swara, Taylor, and Stiles. This is a resolution appropriating a total of $375,000 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund for a grant to Gideon's Army Grassroots Army for Children to implement a trauma-informed, youth-led workforce and leadership program for youth to reduce and mitigate violence as part of the Community Safety Initiative. Sponsor Toombs, Madam Chair, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee report. Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right, and for the report of the Public Health and Safety Committee, Vice Chair Prep T, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. In committee, we had a pretty robust discussion on this particular agenda item. Some items that I want to share with the full body on our discussion is that this grant is a fully reimbursable grant that has specific deliverables that Gideon's Army is required to meet. Likewise, if those deliverables are not met, there is a clawback provision in this particular grant that would allow Metro to be able to cancel the grant and be able to be reimbursed for that fund disbursement. With that being said, after consideration of RS 2026-1907, the committee voted 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to approve.
All right, with both those committee reports in, it's back to you, Ms. Toombs, for a motion.
Move for approval.
All right. There is a motion to approve, properly seconded, and we're on to discussion. First in the queue, Councilmember Swara, do you seek to be recognized for discussion on this item? Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I thank you, Councilmember Prepti, for referencing the discussion in health and safety, and I urge everyone to please go back and watch it. But one of the things that I wanted to uplift also is that when you look at the model of work that Gideon Army does, this violent interruption program, the whole program premises or is based on using people that have actual experiences in this area, people that have been shot, people that are in gang. That's how the program works, so that they can relate to the kids, so they can offer them something different. And so when we look at things like that, yes, we have stories in the news about 1 or 2 individuals that did something. I do not want us to penalize this organization that is doing great work because of those 2 incidences or because they're using gang members. That's how it works. That's who the kids relate to. So I encourage everyone to watch the discussion in Ed Committee where they actually stated a lot of things that will be done. Health Department talks about the oversight and the deliverables and everything that goes with it. And there was a robust conversation on the work that they're doing in the community. So I know we see things in the news, but I do not want that to affect how this organization is viewed, because they've been doing this work for a long time and they've been very successful. And with that, I ask for all of your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Next for discussion is Councilmember Gamble. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would also like to rise in support of this grant opportunity. We have been discussing this for several years now, even when I was on the Public Safety Committee. I've also attended some of the events and programs that Gideon's Army has held for the students that participate. I mean, these are students that have experienced a lot of trauma, not to their own making, but just because of the environment that they're in, and the programs that Gideon's Army provides a safe place for these students to understand better some of the trauma that they're going to, and to learn about ways to prevent or to deal with that trauma in a constructive manner. So I really do support this grant. I hope that many of you will take Rashida up on her offer when she sends out the invitation to come and really look at and view some of the programs that she does with these students. And this funding will help continue that work and expand their work. So I encourage all of you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next for discussion is Councilmember Toombs. Go ahead, Ms. Toombs.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Obviously, I stand in support of the legislation. This is something that I have championed and have been working on for years. I don't want to repeat what others have said, but I will add that Gideon's Army as an organization has jumped through all of the administrative hoops. Their finances have been audited. They've submitted a boatload of documentation. They've met all the standards that the Metro Health Department has for their grantees. Dr. N, who oversees all of the community violence and violence intervention and interruption programs that the health department oversees, because we know that gun violence is a public health crisis. So the health department oversees all of these programs and tracks the data and all the metrics and keeps up with all the groups. And Dr. N is very much an expert in this area and would not be a part of it if it was not legitimate, if it wasn't a good program. I wouldn't put my name on it if it wasn't a good program. So I encourage all of my colleagues to support it.
Thank you. Next is Councilmember Kupin. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief. Also rising in support and just appreciate the young man's comments earlier about the program and the impact and the work it has. I've seen firsthand how important the Gideon's Army work is, and so just really supportive of this and urge my colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Mr. Kupin. Next, Councilmember Bradford. You're recognized. Oh, no, sir. Okay. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized for discussion on this resolution? All right. Seeing none, we will move to the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any voting no? Okay. Hearing a no, with this being a resolution that only has one vote, we will have to go on the boards. Mr. Clerk, please open the vote. With all votes in, Mr. Clerk, please show the vote. All right, this resolution has been adopted with 33 votes in favor, 1 vote no, and 2 abstentions. Right, next on our agenda, among our resolutions is agenda item 28, resolution 2026-1925, sponsors Kupin, Rutherford, Huffman, Johnston, Stiles, Nash, Gadd, Gamble, Weiner, Spain, Bradford, Lee, Webb, Taylor, Swara, and Ellis. This is a resolution recognizing the contributions of linemen and line workers and recognizing April 18th, 2026 as National Lineman Appreciation Day in Nashville and Davidson County. Councilmember Kupin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
For the report of the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections, Chair Cash, this is regarding Mr. Kupin's line workers resolution.
Yep, we voted to approve, 4 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right. Back to you, Mr. Kupin.
Thank you. Move approval with a brief comment.
All right. Is there a second? We got it. Yep. Go ahead, Mr. Kupin.
And I know there's a late file that we want to add on here, appreciate everyone's support here. Behind every light switch, hospital, and functioning city are the line workers putting themselves at risk to keep the power on. It's one of the most dangerous jobs in the country, and especially highlighted with our recent experience with Ice Storm Fern. They work in extreme heights and temperatures near lethal voltage, long hours. I think back to when I got to visit with some of the line workers during the storm, and they showed me a photograph of a kind of wooded area and a hill that they had to climb up and haul heavy gear and put power back on. And then they shared with me that on their way back down, their access or exit was blocked because some trees had fallen behind them and they had to get that cleared out. So these are really the people doing phenomenal work to keep our city going. I think it is every year is fitting to recognize them, but especially with what's been going on recently. I can't thank them enough for all the time away from their family. Many of them lost power like we did, but they were still out there, long shifts. Again, cold weather, hard work, and so really appreciate that. And so would like to also amend my motion to include 12.3 for this bill. Thank you.
Okay, so there is a motion to approve with Rule 12.3 applied such that all members voting in the affirmative will be listed as co-sponsors. Okay, we are on to discussion. Ms. Suara, I saw that you wanted to be recognized. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to suspend the rules to present the late file amendment.
Okay, there is a motion to suspend the rules for what I see to be a housekeeping amendment. Is there any objection to suspension of the rules so that Ms. Suarez's late filed housekeeping amendment can be taken up? Seeing, well, I apologize. Mr. Cash, Chair, did this come to your committee on its late filed nature?
Yes, it did, and we voted to support the late filed nature. 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right. So again, with that report, I will ask if there is any objection. Seeing none, the rules are suspended, and we, if you make a motion, we can take this up now.
All right, move for approval.
All right, go ahead, ma'am. There's a motion to amend.
It's a motion to amend. It's a very short housekeeping rules, but the whole idea is that I would love for it to say line workers instead of linemen. This day and age, we have women working as well, and so if we're going to recognize the troop, we want to make sure we recognize all of them, and that rather than using linemen, which is the original word, we want to make sure we recognize all the people that are doing the job, and so this amendment just changed linemen to line workers.
All right, you've heard an explanation of the amendment from sponsor Suara. Is there any discussion on this motion to amend? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right. Do you want to renew your motion, Mr. Kupin?
Yes, please. Move as amended.
All right. Do I hear a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion on this resolution as amended? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, you have adopted this resolution as amended, honoring our line workers with Rule 12.3 applied. Okay, next. Our Section M, Bills on Introduction and First Reading. By rule, all items on first reading shall be voted on at the same time unless requested otherwise by a primary sponsor or by 2 other members. Do any items need to be removed from the collective vote? Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. 1360, have to move a substitute because of the planning numbers?
Wait, no, we're just removing them from first reading consent vote. Agenda item 34, Ms. Stiles?
Committee reports, that have to
No, we're just removing them from the first consent vote. Is it your wish to remove agenda item 34? Okay. Ms. Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Number 35,
All right.
1361.
Agenda item 35 by Ms. Benedict and agenda item 34 will be removed. 34 is Ordinance 1360. And then agenda item 35 is 1361. Okay. Is there a motion for approval of all the items remaining on first consideration? Okay. Properly seconded without objection. You have approved all items remaining on first reading. Now we'll go back to the items that were pulled from first in order. Now, Ms. Stiles, agenda item 34, ordinance BL 2026-1360, is an ordinance amending chapter 17.28 of the Metro Code of Laws to amend regulations on underground utilities. Ms. Stiles, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. So there's the current bill is missing the planning number, so there is a substitute that I would like to move, and then.
Okay. If you would please make a motion first to approve to get the bill before us.
I'd like to move for approval.
Okay. Now you can make your motion to substitute.
Yes, I'd like to move the substitute, please.
Okay. And I think I heard you saying that that was a housekeeping, like a numeration issue there. Okay. Anything else you wish to say?
Nope, that's it.
All righty. Is there any discussion on the motion to substitute? Seeing none, all in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, if you would please renew your motion to approve on first reading as substituted.
Yes, I would like to move this bill as substituted, please.
Okay, and it's properly seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Approval on first as substituted. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this has passed its first of 3 readings.
I'm glad to have my voice back.
Okay, yes. Still a little raspy though. Okay.
It's pretty good if I have to raise my voice.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. 35, agenda item 35, ordinance BL 2026-1361, sponsors Benedict, Capp, and Kupin. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 17.37 of the Metro Code of Laws to establish an East Bank Design Review Committee within the Downtown Code, also known as the DTC. And Ms. Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Is there a second? Okay, it's before us. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move the substitute.
All right. Would you like to describe the substitute?
Absolutely. So the substitute adds the proposal number from planning because that was not on the original bill.
All right, so this is housekeeping, adding a proposal number. Is there any further discussion on the motion to substitute? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, the substitute is on.
I'd like to move as substituted, please.
All right, is there a second? All right, is there any discussion? Seeing none, there's a motion to approve as substituted on the first of 3 readings. All in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right, this has passed first reading as substituted. All right, next we are moving into section N of our agenda, bills on second reading that were not on the consent agenda. First among them is agenda item 42, ordinance BL 2026-1254. Sponsors Cortez, Harrell, Bradford, Gadd, Sepulveda, Ellis, Vo, and Suara. This is an ordinance to amend Title VI of the Metro Code of Laws regarding the disclosure of personalized, algorithmic, and dynamic pricing. Sponsor Cortez, you are recognized, sir.
Yes, committee reports, please.
All right, for the report of the Government Operations and Regulations Committee, Chair Hill.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We recommended a deferral to the second meeting of July, which is July 21st.
Okay, there is a motion, or rather, a recommendation of deferral to, I apologize, if you would restate that, the first meeting?
The second meeting of July.
Second meeting in July.
Which is July 21st.
Thank you.
And that was 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, I would like to move to defer to the second meeting in July with a brief comment.
Yes, go ahead, sir, of course.
Yes, per Metro Legal's recommendation, I reached out to AG Scrimeti's office at the state, and we believe that may be a path for enforcement. So they are reviewing that request now, and we believe by the second meeting in July, we will have an answer if that is something that they can enforce for us or not. So we'll have more information then.
All right. There is a motion to defer to the second meeting in July. You've heard an explanation of the deferral by the sponsor. Is there any discussion on the motion to defer? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right. This will be taken up again at the second meeting in July on its second of 3 readings. All right. Also on second reading is agenda item 50. This is ordinance BL 2026-1334, sponsors Bradford, Horton, and Evan Siegel. This is an ordinance authorizing the Metro government to abandon existing reservoir drain line and to accept new public sanitary sewer manholes and easements for property located at 1431 Volte Boulevard, also known as Jetway Logistics. Councilmember Bradford, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Committee reports.
For the report of the planning, or the the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Horton. Sorry, we had the up and down there. Go ahead, sir. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 8 in favor, 0 against, and with 1 abstention.
Okay, and 1 abstention. And for the report of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, Chair Evan Siegel.
So rare that these are off consent. The Transportation Infrastructure Committee recommended approval, 5 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention.
All right, and I'm guessing the reason it was not on consent is going to be for purposes of abstention, but we've heard the committee reports, and so it's back to you, Mr. Bradford, for a motion to get it before us.
Move approval.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this ordinance on its second of 3 readings? Okay, Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am that abstention. I just need to be recorded as abstaining.
Duly noted. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any additional abstentions? Okay, there's 1 abstention by Ms. Allen. Mr. Clerk, if you would please record it. This ordinance has passed its second of 3 readings with 1 abstention. All right. Next, Section O of the agenda, bills on 3rd reading. First is agenda item 53, ordinance BL 2026-1255, sponsors Huffman, Horton, and Kupin. This is an ordinance amending chapter 13.08 of the Metro Code of Laws related to sandwich board signs in the public right-of-way. Co-sponsor Horton, you are recognized. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for a 1 meeting deferral, please.
Let's see. Do we have any committee reports at this juncture, sir?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Do we have the report of the Traffic and Parking Commission prior? Okay. Mr. Parker, do you have the report of the Traffic and Parking Commission?
I don't have it handy, but I
Okay,
can
can
research it ahead of the next meeting.
Put it to special counsel? Okay, go ahead, special counsel, if you would please share that. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Traffic and Parking Commission disapproved BL 2026-1255 by a vote of 3-2.
All right. Okay, so with that report in, now it is back to you, Mr. Horton, co-sponsor for the deferral motion.
Thank you. I'd like to move for a 1 meeting deferral, please.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's properly moved and seconded, a 1 meeting deferral. Is there any discussion on this bill, or the deferral motion, rather? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the deferral of 1 meeting on 3rd reading, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this ordinance will be taken up again on its 3rd and final reading at the meeting of May 7th. All right. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Agenda item 56, ordinance BL 2026-1273. Sponsors Kupin and Stiles. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, to make various changes to the downtown code, all of which is described herein. This is in reference to the East Bend area. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Kupin, I'm going to recognize you first, sir, for your committee reports.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
All right, for the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Mr. Horton, I know for purposes of committee discussion, you had organized by topic, but if you would, for purposes here, please move through in numeric order. Mr. Bradford and Ms. Ellis, if you might, please, folks. We've got a committee report right behind you. Yep, thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Horton.
I have them grouped by vote. Is that okay? Rather than numerical order? Some were approved, many were withdrawn. I grouped them together for purposes of.
Okay.
Or I could go through numerically.
If you would do that, sir, I would be grateful.
Yep. For Amendment 1 by Councilmember Kupin, it was not moved for approval, and so we did not issue a committee recommendation. For Amendment 2 by Kupin, we voted in favor, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 3 by Kupin, we voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 4, also by Kupin, we voted 9 in favor, 1 against, 0 not voting. Amendment 5 by Kupin, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 6 by Kupin, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 7, it was not moved for approval, so it was not considered or given a recommendation by the committee. For Amendment 8, it was not moved for approval, so we did not issue a recommendation. For Amendment 9, it was also not moved for approval, so not given a recommendation. For Amendment 10 by Councilmember Kupin, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 11 by myself, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 12 by Councilmember Benedict, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 13 by Councilmember Benedict, the sponsor indicated an intent to withdraw, so we did not issue a committee recommendation. For Amendment 14, also by Councilmember Benedict, it was not moved for approval, so we did not issue a committee recommendation. For Amendment 15 by Councilmember Parker, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 16 by Councilmember Vo, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 17, by Councilmember Vo, the sponsor indicated intent to withdraw, so it was not given a committee recommendation. For Amendment 18 by Councilmember Evans, we also did not consider it, and it was not given a committee recommendation. For Amendment 19 by Councilmember Evans, the sponsor indicated intent to withdraw, so it was not considered or issued a committee recommendation. For Amendment 20 by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 21, the sponsor indicated intent to withdraw, so it was not considered or issued a committee recommendation. For Amendment 22, we recommended, by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 23, by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 24, by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 25, by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 26, by Councilmember Capp, the sponsor indicated intent to withdraw, so it was not issued a committee recommendation. For Amendment 27 by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For Amendment 28 by Councilmember Capp, the sponsor indicated intent to withdraw, so it was not considered to give it a committee recommendation. For late filed Amendment 1 by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For late filed Amendment 2 by Councilmember Capp, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For late filed Amendment 3 by Councilmember Benedict, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And there was an additional late filed amendment which was not considered by the committee as we did not receive it in time. And then finally, we recommended approval of the bill overall as amended by the amendments with a favorable recommendation, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right. Thank you for that very extensive and clear committee report. Now it is back to you, Mr. Kupin, for a motion to get the bill before us. Without objection, colleagues, just so we can move efficiently, Councilmember Kupin, the primary sponsor, has quite a few amendments. As you know, amendments are offered in your discussion time. I would like for us to be able to proceed through all of Mr. Kupin's amendments. That may mean that he would have more than 3 minutes so that we can proceed through all of those. You know, we can defer and give time to other folks, and that can take some extra time. So if there's no objection, we'll just proceed in that manner. We might then subsequently, Mr. Capp, proceed in a similar manner when you are recognized to offer your amendments, because those are fairly extensive as well. You might also likewise need more than 3 minutes, okay? Everyone clear? No objection? Okay. Mr. Kupin, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Move approval with a comment, please.
All right. There's a motion to approve, and it's properly seconded. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Well, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, as you said. And I left yesterday's Planning and Zoning Committee with a big smile. I think it was really just exciting to me as a Nashvilleian, as someone who loves this city, to see, months and months and years and generations of work coming together, to see council members with differing viewpoints and differing amendments kind of landing on similar pages and working together to make this a project that's not just for one district, but for the whole city. So that was really cool to see, and I hope we continue that this evening. We've heard about congestion, the need for housing, family orientation, green space, multimodal, and so much more. And I think these are covered in these amendments, as we've talked about many times before. It's a form-based zoning. It's not an SP, and so it will live and breathe and be changed over the years. This is a multi-decades process and site. But just a huge thank you to everyone who worked on it, especially Lisa and Lucy and Brett and Matt and Eric and everyone on the planning department who worked nights and weekends and mornings and hours I didn't know existed on this project. So huge thanks to them and just everyone who worked on this. This is a generational, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I think we're really delivering for our community. So skipping Amendment 1, I would like to then move Amendment 2, please.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir. There's a motion to amend with Amendment 2, which precludes beer and cigarette market uses. Anything additionally you wish to say?
Just that this was part of the feedback that we received from a lot of emails, and this would prohibit that use.
Okay, is there any discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this amendment can be added to the bill. Mr. Kupin, as we move through these, I'm just going to go back to you basically for a nod to renew your motion as amended. I will state it. You can just nod. I will acknowledge that so we can just kind of proceed through. So Mr. Kupin, do you wish to renew your motion to approve as amended with Amendment 2? Okay. All right, on we go.
Thank you. Move approval of Amendment 3, please.
Is there a second? Okay. This adds some recitals, pretty simple. Anything else you want to say, sir?
Just that this addresses a couple of things. It talks about a Connect East Bank action plan, similar to Connect Downtown action plan to address the congestion concerns. Talks about the voluntary attainable housing program being expanded over here. Green space, riverfront access, all important things that we've heard from our constituents.
All right. You've heard an explanation of the amendment. Is there any discussion to amend with Amendment 3? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Mr. Kupin, we're going to renew that motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2 and 3. Is that correct? He's nodding his head yes. Continue, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to move Amendment 4.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. This is regarding step backs. Is that correct, sir? Anything else you want to say about that?
Yes. So wanted to toss this over to the planning table. We've had some great discussions since planning committee yesterday. Some concerns were raised about unintended consequences of what the step backs are and how it's already baked in other ways in the legislation. So would love planning to explain that if you could.
All right. Ms. Milligan for the Planning Department, you're recognized regarding Mr. Kupin's Amendment 4 related to step backs. Go ahead.
Sure. So as the Planning Department staff was writing the text that creates this subdistrict, we did consider adding requirements for building step backs, which at a certain level, which what that means is that it pushes the building back away from either the street or open space or however you may define it. We did think about that and consider it, but we actually decided to go with different ways to think about light and air. And that's the reason that you would want to step back, is to create the ability for light and air to get to the street level. So what we did instead was we created a scheme that includes maximum floor plates, maximum tower length, tower separation. And so all of those things in concert together create that opportunity for light and air that just sometimes is not achieved as well as, or is achieved better than step backs would create it.
Thank you. Just one quick follow-up question. If this came to the downtown DRC or potentially the East Bank DRC, which I'm very excited about and look forward to talking about next meeting, would that group have the ability to impose step backs or things to adjust the light and air flow?
Yes, certainly. And we, having a standard that doesn't require a step back doesn't mean that there couldn't be a step back if an architect is creating a building and they find that having a step back on a part of a building creates a better design, more interesting architecture. They could certainly have one, but this just wouldn't require it as a minimum standard.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna because of that, and again, conversations I've had, I think it's important that we have buildings that breathe and have porosity and have air to them, and we don't have big blocky walls. But I think from what I understand, this is already kind of incorporated. So I'm gonna withdraw the motion on Amendment 4.
All right. Okay, we continue with discussion. You still have the floor, Mr. Kupin. What is presently before us is a motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2 and 3 so far. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Move Amendment 5.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Not much to discuss here, just any sort of digital exterior lighting, large displays, things like that can be concerning for neighborhoods. And so this was something that I wanted to make sure was not a permitted use. And so if it were to ever be requested as a permitted use, it would have to come before council for approval.
Already, you have heard an explanation of Amendment 5. The motion to amend was properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend with Mr. Kupin's Amendment 5? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay. Mr. Kupin, do you wish to renew your motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2, 3, and 5? He is nodding his head yes. Okay, you still have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. Move Amendment 6.
All right, properly moved and seconded. Amendment 6 regarding reporting related to the MCSP in the public realm. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So this is something that requests planning to bring a report on the MCSP and public realm, which are big considerations by July 31st for an initial draft and at the end of the year. I know that's been a big consideration. Timeline's a big consideration. I want to keep this on, but I also want to be clear that I've spoken to planning extensively. They have committed to working very hard on this in the coming months, and it may warrant extensions over time. We don't want to rush this. We want to make sure there's public engagement and adequate time to get it right. So I want to put this on currently, but also want to make sure on the record that this is something that if it needs more time to breathe or to work, that we're supportive of that. Again, it's more important to get it right than to get it fast. So would urge my colleagues to support that.
All right, there's a motion to amend with Amendment 6 by sponsor Kupin. You've heard an explanation of that amendment. The motion was properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend with Amendment 6? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, Mr. Kupin, where we are is a motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2, 3, 5, and 6. Are you renewing that motion? He is nodding his head yes. Okay. You still have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. Move Amendment 10.
All right. Is there a second? Pardon?
Oh.
Okay.
Good. I'm getting a look from special counsel. Am I?
Are we at special counsel? Do you need to be recognized? Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Councilmember, this motion deals with renaming the entire document.
Thank you for that. So I'm gonna, sorry, so actually we'll hold on to that one for now. Madam President, do you want me to then, if I'm moving away from mine, this one would have to come at the end based on the nature of how it's structured.
Okay.
Do you want me to continue moving other amendments, or should I defer that then to the council members that sponsored them?
You have the floor, sir, and so I don't know what conversations you've had with other members. I would suggest that we are on discussion now at this juncture for a motion to approve as amended with amendments 2, 3, 5, and 6. Other members may enter the queue at this juncture, and we can proceed in that regard unless you very specifically want to make one of them yourself as the primary sponsor. Okay, so with that, next in the queue is Councilmember Capp. Councilmember Capp, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have a series to move. May we use that same procedure?
Indeed, we may. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I move Amendment 20.
Okay, there's a motion to amend with Amendment 20. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is an important one. It's urgently important that when we build the East Bank, we build it as a neighborhood. And the bill, as of a couple weeks ago, allowed almost unlimited hotel uses. This is a limitation on hotel uses. Hotels can certainly be part of thriving neighborhoods, but I'm not aware of any neighborhoods that are mostly hotels. And so this is an important amendment to make sure we're building a neighborhood for Nashvillians in this area. I understand it was deemed friendly last night, and so with that, I urge your support, and thank you.
All right, there's a motion to amend with Councilmember Capp's Amendment 20. You've heard an explanation. It was properly seconded. Is there any discussion on Amendment 20? Okay, I see some folks in the queue. If there is discussion on Amendment 20 in particular and specifically, would you raise your hand, please? Okay, Ms. Hancock, you are recognized regarding the motion to amend with Amendment 20.
Thank you. I just rise in support of this amendment. I think that allowing up to 12 different uses is plenty in this area, and I think it's very generous. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Kupin, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Appreciate my colleague bringing this. Very supportive of this amendment. Took some work to get there, and really appreciate everyone that worked on it, and very supportive.
All right. Is there anyone else seeking to be recognized specifically on Amendment 20? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay. Amendment 20 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, and 20? He is shaking his head yes. On we go. Mr. Capp, go ahead. Oh, sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move Amendment 22.
Okay. Properly moved and seconded. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This has been subject to a lot of discussion in committee. We've had several committee meetings about this. This relates to surface parking. In the original proposal, surface parking would have been allowed by right in the whole subdistrict. We have got to build the East Bank in a way that is not car-centric. We will be making a once-in-a-century mistake if we induce a century's worth of car traffic into this area to come through East Nashville. We all know that we can do better to build it for walking, active transportation, and transit. This is an important step in that direction. It allows surface parking as a temporary permitted use for 5 years. Those permits lasting for 1 year and renewable for that time. And it limits 20% of the site, limits that use to overall 20% of the site to help us get to the place where we've built out our infrastructure. And so I ask your support and thank you for that.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Mr. Capp's Amendment 22. You've heard an explanation. It was properly seconded. Is there anyone seeking to be recognized specifically on Amendment 22? Councilmember Druffel, you are recognized, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Do we have an idea of how many total parking spots the entire development will encompass?
Do you want to address that to Mr. Capp?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Sure. I think the traffic engineers estimate about 100 or 120 parking spots per acre of surface parking. And so this is a 47-acre site. Roughly 20% of it gets you to about 1,000 cars.
All right, Mr. Druffel, does that answer your question?
Thanks very much, yes.
Okay. Mr. Kupin on Amendment 22.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say I'm very supportive of this and appreciate it being brought.
Okay. Anyone else seeking to be recognized specifically on Amendment 22? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no, any abstaining? All right, Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended with Amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 20, and 22? Shaking his head yes. On we go. Next, Mr. Capp, you still have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move Amendment number 23.
Properly moved and seconded. An explanation, please?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This requires a multimodal transportation analysis to be done by NDOT by the end of the next fiscal year, so, June 2027, end of June, for the entire site. This is something that this is sort of a new policy departure for us in Metro, but it's related to our goals of building this, for people, a neighborhood that's active and walkable. And so this directs NDOT to do those studies with that in mind. And it also requires those to be renewed every 5 years so that we can keep our data up to date and keep our analysis rigorous as we are, sort of building out this site over years and decades. So I'm excited for the potential here and ask your support.
All right. You have heard an explanation of Amendment 23 by Mr. Capp. His motion to amend was properly seconded. Is there anyone seeking to be recognized for discussion on the motion to amend? Mr. Kupin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Friendly amendment.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else that can be recognized on Amendment 23? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no, any abstaining. All right. That Amendment 23 has passed. Mr. Kupin, do you wish to renew your motion to approve as amended with amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 20, 22, and 23? He does. On we go. Mr. Capp, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move Amendment 24.
Properly moved and seconded. Anything you want to explain about Amendment 24?
Yes, Vice Mayor. Thank you. There is a sort of a building on this site that's entitled to a bonus height if it achieves an exceptional design. The definition of that was not particularly exceptional in my view. And so I think if we're doing this, we should be requiring genuinely uplifting, civically meaningful architecture to be reviewed by whatever design review committee is in place. I hope it's the East Side Design Review Committee as brought forth by my colleague to the north. But this just makes that definition more stringent and robust. And so I ask your support and thank you.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 24 by Mr. Capp. You've heard an explanation of that amendment. We're on to discussion of the motion to amend. Is anyone seeking to be recognized for purposes of discussion on this amendment, aside from the primary sponsor, who I believe is going to express it as a friendly amendment? Go ahead, sir.
I could use a hand signal for friendly amendment as well, but yes,
Okay,
friendly amendment.
You can just, I don't know what we can do there. Okay. You can like fist pump, like that's the visual cue that it's a friendly amendment maybe. Okay. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 24. Anyone else seeking to be recognized on that amendment? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, Mr. Kupin, do you wish to renew your motion to amend or rather to approve as amended up to this point? We've added 24. Okay. Going on then. Mr. Capp, you still have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move Amendment 25.
All right. Is there a second? Properly moved and seconded. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As you all know, the downtown code has different use areas. The east use area has a stadium arena use in the use table. This amendment removes that from the use table for this subdistrict, and I ask your support.
All right. There's a motion to amend with Mr. Capp's Amendment 25. It is properly seconded, and you've heard an explanation of that amendment. We are on to discussion on that motion to amend. Does anyone seek to be recognized on Amendment 25? If you do, given that there are others in the queue for, please raise your hand. Okay. Ms. Hancock, you are recognized.
Hi, thank you for recognizing me. So this is the only amendment that the committee passed that I am not in favor of. And I know that I'm in the minority, but I just want to speak my piece about it. I believe that if we did ever have a stadium or arena, it would still be below the 24 to 40 story max, so it wouldn't impact the height. Right now we have the Titan Stadium, which they have 17 regular season games a year, which half of those are at home, so that's 8 or 9 regular season games. A total of 12 games a year, that's 1 day, 12 days out of the entire year. I think that if we had another stadium, I know former Councilmember Van Reese just announced professional women's basketball coming to Nashville. Wouldn't that be really cool to have that on the East Bank? or baseball. I know other people have talked about that. I'm not a big fan of either of those sports, but I'm a big sports proponent, and I just don't like that restriction. Thank you.
All right. We're continuing discussion on the motion to amend with Amendment 25. Mr. Kupin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I echo both of the sentiments that are shared. I think that if we look at a family-friendly neighborhood, a stadium, if done correctly, with women's sports or baseball or things like that, could become and is in many other cities an anchor for a phenomenal family-friendly neighborhood. That being said, any conversation around that, there's nothing on the table, and any conversation around that would need robust community engagement and conversations and things like that. So I'm very supportive. I signed on to this this use restriction, so I'm supportive of this amendment removing that use at this time.
All right. Discussion continues on Amendment 25. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized on the motion to amend with Amendment 25? If so, would you please raise your hand? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of Amendment 25, please say aye. Aye. Any voting no? No. Okay, any abstaining? All right, the ayes have it. Amendment 25 will be added to the bill. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your approval motion at this juncture, 25 being added? He is shaking his head yes. Mr. Capp, you still have the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move Amendment 27.
Okay. There's a motion to amend with Amendment 27 by Mr. Capp, properly seconded. We're, if you want to give an explanation of that, then we'll be on to discussion.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. This will apply to a couple future amendments as well, but when it comes to structured parking, in order to keep the street fronts active and that parking sort of invisible from the public around their requirements for active liners, there's one place in the current form of the legislation where those liners are not required, specified in this amendment, sort of at the intersection of KVB and Davidson. This amendment requires active liners at that location as well. And I ask your support.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 27, properly seconded. Is there any discussion specifically on Amendment 27? Raise your hand if so. Councilmember Nash, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would just like an explanation of what a liner looks like, is.
Would you like Mr. Capp to address it?
Whoever.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Sure. Thank you for the question. It's just, you know, like a retail frontage, you know, instead of looking at a structured parking garage, you're looking at something, you know, retail or some kind of active street front use. There's parking behind it, but if you're looking at it from the street, it just looks like an active street front. So it's, you know, it's pro-walkable, it's good for active neighborhoods, and it's, you know, good to activate the street front is what a liner is.
Mr. Nash, does that address everything?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Kupin, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. A good example of a liner is in the Gulch, for example, there are parking garages that then have activated uses along the sidewalk that wrap them around, and also very supportive of this amendment.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 27. It's properly seconded. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized on the motion to amend with Amendment 27? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, so Amendment 27 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended, now adding Amendment 27? He is shaking his head yes. On we go. Mr. Capp, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I ask my colleagues to allow a suspension of the rules in order for us to consider late filed amendment number 1.
Okay, late filed amendment 1, which was taken up in committee. Is there any objection to the suspension of the rules to take up Mr. Capp's late filed amendment 1? Okay, seeing none, the rules are suspended. Go ahead, Mr. Capp.
I really appreciate that, colleagues. Thank you. This is an important amendment, and I can explain the late filed nature. I had originally filed for the last meeting a requirement that buildings that were not housing had to have their parking underground. That is something that we've sort of committed to in the East Bank generally, and I wanted to apply that standard here as well. But through discussions with planning and the water department, some of this site is in the 100-year floodplain, and so it's inadvisable for obvious reasons to not go underground with your parking in the 100-year floodplain. This new version of the amendment makes a requirement for underground parking unless a majority of a building is in the 100-year floodplain, and that sort of, makes it responsible as well. So I ask your approval. Thank you.
Okay, there is a motion to amend with late filed amendment number 1 by Mr. Capp. You've heard that explained. Is there a second? Okay, properly moved and seconded. We are on to discussion about late filed amendment 1. Is anyone seeking to be recognized on that motion to amend? If you would please raise your hands. Anybody other than primary sponsor Kupin? Go ahead, sir.
Friendly amendment.
All right, good to know. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, so late filed amendment 1 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended now with late filed amendment 1 having been added? He is shaking his head yes, and so on we go. Mr. Capp, you are recognized again, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And friends, this is my last one for the evening. I ask a suspension of the rules for the consideration of late filed amendment number 2.
All right. This amendment was taken up in Planning and Zoning Committee where it received a recommendation. You heard that from sponsor Horton. Knowing that, is there any objection for suspension of the rules? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. Go ahead. You may offer this amendment.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is a slightly modified version of an amendment that was before us last time and was recommended in.
If you would, sir, please move the amendment.
Yes, Vice Mayor, thank you. I move approval of late file 2.
It's properly seconded. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. This was something that we considered for the last meeting, and it was recommended by the committee, but through discussion with planning, I have brought forward an amended version, and that's the reason for the late filed nature of this. The version that I had brought required the liner depths to be 30 feet all the way up. There was a requirement that they be a minimum of 15 feet in the version. That just helps them be better for local businesses, folks who are starting up or might need storage on the site to be able to operate in that space. But through discussion with planning about some of the technical components of this, my primary interest and concern had been at the ground level, wanting those active street frontages on the sidewalks. But higher than that, there might be a need for flexibility to get utilities, stairwells, and so forth, like the sort of the innards of the building to work more functionally. And so this late filed amendment requires at the ground level a liner to be a minimum of 25 feet deep, but only 15 feet above that. And with that, I ask your approval and thank you, colleagues.
All right. There is a motion to amend with late filed amendment number 2 by Councilman Capp, and you have heard the explanation. It was properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this amendment? If so, please do raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Kupin?
Thank you. Friendly amendment.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right. Late filed amendment 2 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended now with late filed amendment number 2 having been added? Shaking his head yes. Okay, on we go. Now we're going to go back over to the main queue. So at this juncture, where we are, colleagues, is there is a motion to approve as amended so far with amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, and late filed amendments 1 and 2. Next in the queue is Councilmember Parker. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move Amendment 15.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, there's a motion to amend with Amendment 15. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So throughout the course of discussion around this project, we've heard a lot of discussion about how we really need this street network for this site to be as safe and accessible as possible. We've never scratch built in Nashville a development this dense, this large, that has zero street network to begin with. Even on the metro portion of the East Bank, there is something of a street grid to begin with. So we know that the major and collector street plan process is going to be extremely important to get right. And what this amendment does is gives us a couple of other touch points, that being recommendations from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee and the Vision Zero Advisory Commission or Committee, forgive me if I can't remember which is which. It also includes a few sort of parameters just for, like for example, it does include a shot clock, so neither of those entities could just like fail to make a recommendation and then that hold it up from being approved by planning. There's language in there that it could also be successor orgs to BPAC and VZAC. It should that structurally be modified. And if there's not a successor org identified, it falls back on the charter mandated Traffic and Parking Commission. So there's kind of always going to be an entity that can look at this in addition to the Planning Commission and make a recommendation. So I believe it's supported by the lead sponsor as well, based on committee discussions, and I would ask for colleagues' support.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 15 by Councilmember Parker. It is properly seconded, and you have heard a description of that amendment. We are on to discussion on Amendment 15. If you seek to be recognized for purposes of that discussion, please raise your hand. Okay, Councilmember Hancock, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I can think of no one on this body more qualified to recommend a bicycle advisory than Councilman Parker, and I support this amendment.
Thank you, Ms. Hancock, and Councilmember Kupin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. A huge thank you to my colleague for bringing this. We heard Dot Dobbins' name invoked earlier, as well as many others who have perished on our roadways, and it's something that weighs heavily on my heart. I've talked to too many families who have lost loved ones, and so it's incredibly important to me that this neighborhood reaches Vision Zero, that we don't have pedestrian deaths on this site that we're building. So hugely supportive of this, very much appreciative of multimodal input. I had set up a meeting at one point with some of the members of BPAC and VZAC with the development team to kind of communicate the importance of this as they develop their site, and appreciate that this will be codified as a longer term process. So hugely supportive and appreciative of my colleague for bringing this.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the motion to amend with Amendment 15? Okay. If so, raise your hand. Seeing none. All in favor of Amendment 15, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right, Amendment 15 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended, now having added Amendment 15? He is shaking his head yes. On we go. We're on discussion now on the motion to approve as amended. Next in the queue is Councilmember Benedict. You're recognized.
I'm here for my,
You may offer your amendment.
Perfect.
That's
Sorry,
a proper motion in the midst of discussion.
The way that
Yes.
I heard you say that just a second ago, I was like, wait, no, we're on that. But okay, I'd like to move Amendment 12.
All right. There is a motion to amend with Amendment 12 by Councilmember Benedict. Is there a second? Okay, it's properly seconded. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. So colleagues, this adds a recital. It's non-binding, but it adds a recital that encourages a developer in the future to provide an urban fire station. We've talked about this many times, that we have big buildings being built all over the city, especially in the downtown and now in this East Bend area. And so we need fire coverage for those. And in other big cities, we see fire halls on the bottom of buildings. So this is to encourage that type of development in the future, and I ask for your support.
All right. There's a motion to amend with Amendment 12. You've heard a description by the sponsor. It was properly seconded, and we're on to discussion of that motion to amend. If anyone seeks to be recognized for purposes of that discussion, please raise your hand. Councilmember Kupin, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you to my colleague for bringing this. I think first responders are incredibly important on this site, and love the idea of having a fire station over there. So appreciate that and very supportive.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the motion to amend with Amendment 12? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right. Amendment 12 has passed. Councilmember Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended, now having added Amendment 12? Shaking his head yes. Discussion continues. I'm
have a
not seeing
second.
our clock, but I presume you
second
have
amendment.
additional time. Ms. Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'd like to suspend the rules to present the Yolanda Parham and Cannon Oldham Street Safety Amendment, late file number 3.
All right. Ms. Benedict has requested a suspension of the rules to take up late filed amendment number 3, which did receive a recommendation in Planning and Zoning Committee, 10-0. Is there any objection to the suspension of the rules to take up this amendment? Okay, it just requires 3 or 2, and so there is more than that. So the rules are not suspended, and we cannot take this up at this time.
Thank
you. All righty. Okay. Next in the queue for discussion is Council Member Horton, Planning and Zoning Chair. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval of Amendment 11, please.
Okay, there's a motion to amend with Amendment 11, properly seconded. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This amendment seeks to govern street design and infrastructure for the East Bend. It reaffirms that the street design should adhere to our multimodal hierarchy to prioritize walking, biking, and public transit over single passenger vehicles, as well as Vision Zero principles, that the only acceptable number of traffic deaths is 0. It also requires a written report to the council on amendments to the major and collector street plan for the East Bend street network, as well as requires grade separation between the pedestrian promenade and vehicular roadways.
All right, there is a motion to amend with Amendment 11 by sponsor Horton. Is properly seconded, and you've heard an explanation of that amendment. So we are on to discussion on the motion to amend. If anyone seeks to be recognized for purposes of that discussion, please raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Kupin, go ahead, sir.
Friendly amendment.
All right. Anyone else seeking to be recognized on the motion to amend? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, Amendment 11 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended, now having added Amendment 11? Okay, he is shaking his head yes. On we go. So we are at present, colleagues, on discussion of the motion to approve as amended presently with amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 11, 12, 15, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, and late filed amendments 1 and 2. Discussion continues. Next in the queue is Mr. Kupin. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to move to suspend the rules to take up late filed 4, please.
Okay. There is a motion to suspend the rules to take up late filed amendment 4. At this time, there not being a committee recommendation from Planning and Zoning, I am going to acknowledge Chair of Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections, Mr. Cash, on the late filed nature of late filed amendment 4.
We heard late filed amendment 4 and voted in favor 6 to 0 of the late filed nature.
Okay. Having heard the report of Rules Chair Cash, is there any objection to the suspension of the rules? All right, I see no objections, and with that, the rules are suspended, and thus you may now offer Amendment 4.
Move approval.
All right, there is a motion to approve. Is there a second? There's a motion to amend, with amendment, late filed amendment 4 by sponsor Vo. Mr. Kupin, do you want to share about that? Or Ms. Vo, I recognize you for an explanation on that amendment. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. This late file is an amendment from the proposed Amendment 16 that was passed in committee yesterday, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And after discussion with planning, we just wanted to make sure that the correct metro departments were going to be covering the environmental study. So the changes that you see in the late file is reflective from planning to Metro Water Services and the Metro Health Department. Everything else in the amendment remained the same.
Okay. All right, thank you for that explanation. There is a motion to amend with late filed amendment 4, sponsored by Ms. Vo. It was properly seconded. You've heard an explanation. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend with late filed 4? Go ahead, Mr. Kupin.
Friendly amendment.
All right. Is there anyone else seeking to be recognized on late file 4? If so, please do raise your hands. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, so a late filed amendment 4 has passed. Mr. Kupin, is it your intent to renew your motion to approve as amended with late file amendment 4 now having been added? He is nodding his head yes, and so we continue with discussion on the motion to approve as amended. Next in the queue is you again, Mr. Kupin. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President and Special Counsel. If I believe I've got it correct, that I can now move Amendment 10, as this is the last amendment that is hopefully will be moved. So I'd like to move Amendment 10, please.
All right. Is Special Counsel, do you want to?
Obviously, members can move amendments through this process. This is the last amendment that received a recommendation from Planning and Zoning Committee.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. It's the last one left on the very long list. Okay, so Mr. Kupin, you have made the motion to amend with Amendment 10, and I believe I heard it seconded. Is there anything you would like to explain about Amendment 10, sir?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. And this really appreciate my colleague bringing the idea of changing the name or adjusting the name of the planning document. To be clear, this is the planning document itself. This is not the project. The project team can do what they want, obviously, with their project, but this is for our downtown code. To have it named something, and we've got East Bank and East Point and East Bend, and members of the public I've watched get very confused with all of these different terms, and I want to make sure that this has its own identity and has its own clear distinction. And I know I went down this road, and I believe my colleague went down this road as well, thinking about what could we name it, and I thought about Wasiauto Park, which is renamed from Cumberland Park, Wasiauto being the Shawnee name, meaning Valley of the Deer, regarding the Cumberland River. And so given that was done, and given that many folks have now embraced that name, and this is the bend of the Cumberland River, I felt it fitting to rename the project, or rename the DTC at least, Wasiauto Bend. So something that I think is really great. It's a great way to acknowledge the land that it's sitting on, and acknowledge, again, this very distinct effort. So many people have taken so much time to make this happen, and I think it deserves its own identity. So I ask my colleagues to support.
All right, so we are on to discussion of the motion to amend with Amendment 10 offered by Mr. Kupin, primary sponsor. You've heard an explanation of the amendment. Is there any discussion on this amendment? Cue's changing a little bit. Let's keep with our pattern here. If any discussion on the motion to amend, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. All in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Pardon? Okay. Any abstaining? Okay, the ayes have it. So Amendment 10 has passed. At this juncture, Mr. Kupin, do you wish to renew your motion to approve as amended at this juncture with amendments 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 15, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, and late filed amendments 1, 2, and 4? If you would please state that motion.
Do you want me to restate all those amendments?
You don't.
I would like to move the bill with all of the amendments that you just read off.
Great. Is there a second? Okay. All right. So we are now on to the primary discussion, all the amendments having been offered, moved, or otherwise. We are on to discussion to approve on third and final reading as amended. First in the queue for that discussion is Councilmember Benedict.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. So I prepared some words because this is so important to me and to the people of East Nashville and of District 7. And I want to start by saying thank you to everybody who called and emailed and showed up to make their voices heard. At the end of the day, I'm here for the neighbors who trust me to make the right decisions for our day-to-day lives. You spoke up, and this bill is better because of it. I also want to thank my colleagues and the departmental staff, especially Council Members Kupin and Capp. I don't think we'd ever have the opportunity to redevelop this area and this site, and it takes a massive amount of work to do it. So because of the scale of this, though, I believe this deserved as much work as we've all put into it. Many of the concerns I heard boiled down to one issue, and that is that what we are being promised is not in the bill in front of us. We all heard that 30% of the private land would be open to the public, but the bill doesn't outline how that will happen, who will pay for it, and when it will be paid for. The development will require upgrades to infrastructure, including streets, sewer, and stormwater, but those costs aren't outlined, including if our taxpayers will cover them or if developers will. We often hear that our tax dollars go downtown and Nashvillians don't get the services that they need in their neighborhoods. And I can't tell you tonight if you'll pay for it or not. I'm also frustrated that we have the opportunity to celebrate our rich civil rights history, but we chose other priorities, and we do that frequently. A children's museum is great, but I'm left again with the question, when will somebody consider a civil rights museum? Even with those concerns, though, I now support the amended bill. It's not perfect, but it is much better than it originally was. Most importantly, and I want to make sure that the people with a capital P are the ones who actually benefit from this development. We're on our way, and I believe with the future East Bank Design Review Committee, and I appreciate the sponsor's support of that, I believe that with the future Design Review Committee, the support of planning staff, and commitments from developers, I think we can get there where this is really going to benefit the people. So colleagues, I hope that you'll join me in voting yes on the amended bill. Thank you.
All right, next in the queue for discussion is Councilmember Capp. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is a big deal for the city and the region. It's also a really big deal for the east side of town. My colleagues and I on the east side have worked a lot and heard a lot from our communities about this, and we worked hard to move this bill in the direction of being a neighborhood for Nashvillians and something that we can be proud of in terms of its infrastructure, transportation network, amount of housing, walkability, and I am really grateful for that input. There's lots of moments when I feel really proud to represent District 6, and this is really very close to the top of that list. I just want to thank the community members and folks who had questions, concerns, who reached out and discussed this over the last several weeks. It was an extremely heartening civic exercise for me. And I also want to thank my colleagues either side for doing the same thing. I'd also like to thank the sponsor of the bill for being receptive to the East Side voice in this matter and deeming our amendments friendly. That's really significant. With the bill as amended, I am also supportive and ask my colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Mr. Capp. Next is Councilmember Suara. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. A lot of thank yous tonight. From the time that we started getting emails, it was obvious that people wanted a change to the area, but they wanted it to happen in a way that benefits the people. And what I kept reading was, we want it to be neighborly, we want parking, and all of those things. And before any one of us could think, the East Side council members jump on, and they did a phenomenal job. So I wanted to thank them so much for the work that they've done. I, too, do believe that the bill as amended come close to what the people want, and this is how it should be. When we all work together, when we take all those consideration, yes, it's 28 amendment, but it was worth every single one of it. So I wanted to thank all of them. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that there was a concern that was still lingering as of yesterday about who pays for this. And from the conversation from the committee, we cannot by law mandate the developer to pay for anything. They've agreed to it, but it's not in the contract that we're signing. So my little contribution to this was I asked them to send us something in writing, to commit to something, even though we cannot make them do it, and they're willing to do it. Can they put that somewhere that we can see, and I want to speak it into record. So you receive an email today from Mr. Sam Reed that talks about this project and the amendments. And there's a statement in there that says that this is not an aspiration, it's a commitment 100% to be paid by the developer. And so I hope that settles that question that is still lingering. And with that being answered and that commitment and all the amendments, I too move for the support and ask everyone to vote and thank everyone that got us here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in the queue is Councilmember Parker. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and I'm going to be careful not to repeat what my colleagues have already said about this. I did want to speak just a little bit about the process. You know, I know this was a pretty heavy lift for this body, for the committees. Really appreciative of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Horton. Really appreciative of the patience from the Budget Committee folks at our last meeting. You know, it's not an easy situation when an area has historically been in, you know, two districts separated by a very natural and obvious boundary from downtown, and that area is moved into the downtown district. And so there's these three folks that sort of have an interest. There's obviously, you defer to the district council member, but there's a historical tie with the communities in East Nashville there. And then there's this weird ripple of open meetings requirements in Tennessee. So we really had to lean on that committee process to get to where we got here. And I'm just quite proud of the body, quite proud of the committee process for the work product here. And I just want to be sure to thank the lead sponsor, Councilmember Kupin, and Planning and Zoning Chair, Horton. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next in the queue is Councilmember Stiles. You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I will be brief. I am really excited to be a sponsor on this bill. I think this bill showed how we can all work together to work for constituents, also make great decisions for the city. And this process, I was sharing with someone earlier that this was so markedly different from last term's large planning process for another large project that I won't name, and that was a veritable nightmare. This is going so much smoother, and I'm grateful. I feel like perhaps we learned some lessons from last term, but thank you for everyone that came up with a wonderful amendment, every single council member. And I am looking forward to seeing what this manifests into over the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stiles. Next is Councilmember Evans. You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm really excited that I brought forward 3 amendments that went nowhere, but I think advanced at least some conversations that I think are important, in particular the one about who's paying for what, because I think that was a topic that was kind of swirling around the edges and hadn't been very explicit. And so I appreciate the conversation around that. And I think it's really important for anybody in this room that's contemplating running for another term, that you mark this time in your memory, because there will be future opportunities where there will probably be questions around who's paying for what. And you'll have an opportunity to kind of weigh in on those discussions in the future, because ultimately, you know, we did learn some things from last term related to the project that will not be named. And one of it is the material outcomes that probably we didn't get deep enough about really what these large projects look like from an execution perspective and how what the impact looks like in all of our districts. So thanks again for allowing one of the suburban areas to participate.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. All right, last in the queue for discussion, back to the primary sponsor to bring it home. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President, and I will try to not echo all the wonderful things that were said, but a deep appreciation to everyone. I forgot earlier to thank Brian and Sammy and again, Matt, for working tirelessly nights, weekends. We were getting emails all sorts of hours, so thank you to everyone who put in all this extra work to make this happen. And thank you to the development team, putting up a phenomenal amount of money to make this project go, and we've been able to shape it as a council and as a body body. But I think it needs to be said that they're putting up a big sacrifice to take this from scrapyard to neighborhood. And then I just want to end with thanking the people who wrote, who called, who emailed. This project is better because of you. It's better because you contributed, because you lifted up your voice. This is how we should do bills. This is how we should legislate, in my opinion. I think this shows that we can do that. We can land planes in this way collaboratively with full buy-in. So really appreciative just to everyone who did it. I think we are building a neighborhood for Nashvillians. And so with that, I move approval as amended.
All right. We are on that motion already. We have one more person in the queue for discussion. Councilmember Ellis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to take the time while we have the spotlight, and so many of my colleagues worked hours to get this right, that we also do the same with the affordability challenges that are facing African Americans that was recently reported on from Metro Social Services.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve as amended for Ordinance BL 2026-1273, sponsor Kupin and Stiles, on its third and final reading? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right, this has passed its third and final reading as amended. All right, hang in there. There is one more item, two more items. The first is somewhat of a companion to agenda item 56. It is agenda item 57, ordinance BL 2026-1284, sponsor Kupin. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17, the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from IG to DTC zoning for various properties located east of Korean Veterans Boulevard and south of Sylvan Street. This is 40.96 acres. Councilmember Kupin, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Right, for the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Horton.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. P&Z recommended to approve, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, it's back to you, Mr. Kupin, for a motion to get the bill before us.
Move approval.
All right, there's a motion to approve. Is it seconded? Okay, is there any discussion on this motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, this too has passed its third and final reading. And then we have one more item, colleagues. It is agenda item 67. It is ordinance BL 2026-1311, sponsor Kimbrough. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17, the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by amending a portion of a planned unit development overlay district to permit 120 multifamily residential units on property located at 201 Gifford Place, located at the corner of Gifford Place and Whites Creek Pike. This is 3.11 acres zoned CS and within a planned unit development overlay district. Councilmember Kimbrough, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report?
Yes, ma'am. For the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Horton, for Ms. Kimbrough's 1311, please, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. P&Z recommended approval, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. All right, it's back to you for a motion to get it before us.
Move for approval.
All right, is there a second? There is a motion to approve, properly seconded on third and final reading. Ms. Kimbrough, anything you wish to add?
Thank you for the support.
Okay.
And I ask that you support it tonight. This is 120 residential units located in the Jolton area. This was previously, well, it's currently a Days Inn hotel. And the owners are going to put $3 million into it to make these 120 units for people to have options, living options.
All righty. There is a motion to approve, properly seconded, of this ordinance on its third and final reading. You've heard an explanation by the sponsor, and we are on to discussion. First in the queue is Councilmember Stiles. You're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. We have received a lot of emails from constituents that live close to this property. They are not in support of this project. And as usual, I find it very difficult to support projects when people email, show up to planning, show up to the chamber, have concerns. I think the people that elected us and put us in office, if they complain, we need to take their concerns into consideration. And so I'm going to be an abstention on this vote, but I would encourage my colleagues to please consider doing the same. Everyone who buys property, moves into a neighborhood, it's okay wherever they chose to live and the reasons why they chose it. I don't think it is on us to say we know better than you do. Thank you.
All right, discussion continues. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Previous question.
All right. Ms. Benedict has recalled the previous question. It requires a second. Okay. It is non-debatable, as y'all know. It requires 2/3 of those voting. If you want to end discussion and move to the vote, you would vote yes. If you want to continue discussion, you will vote no. All in favor of the previous question, please say aye. Any voting no? Okay, the ayes have it. The question has been called, and we move on to the vote. I think anticipating Mr. Benton having pulled it off and you saying you're going to, is there anyone, Mr. Benton, is anyone requesting a roll call? Okay, we have 2 requests for roll call. Mr. Clerk, if you would please load the vote for 1311, please, sir, which is on its 3rd and final reading. Understanding we may have a few abstentions and noes. With all votes in, Mr. Clerk, please show the vote. This ordinance has passed its 3rd and final reading with 29 votes in favor, 4 voting no, and 3 abstentions. All right, that is our last item on the agenda. Our next council meeting will be on Thursday, May 7th, with Monday committees shifting to Wednesday. This is due to the primary election on May 5th. Early voting is underway for that election. Please vote early, Nashville. Is there a motion to adjourn? We're adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.